guys, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of Kopi with Wawan. And here with me today, I have a very special guest, Mr. GamerZakh.
Hi, my name is Zakh. I'm a content creator for video games, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, all that stuff.
Oh man, okay, so you're like a legit YouTuber then, Zakh, right? You know, like it's what you do full time.
I do it full time, yes.
Yeah?
I don't know what you mean by legit.
Legit, like you're making money off it, I suppose. Is that what you consider as to be a legit YouTuber? You have actual views, you know, people are...
Yeah,
like, it's a full-time job, right?
The definition of professional is you make a living, so yes, I do that.
Yes, okay.
I do that,
okay.
yeah.
So you do that. So what is that like, dude? What is that like? I don't think I know any other YouTuber, honestly. You know, like in my very small circle of friends that I know. I mean, I know a lot of production guys, you know, but somebody who's actually making their own content and is a professional at that. That's like, well, what is a typical day for you?
It's pretty much like running a business, really. You know, you open shop, you close shop, you hope customers show up, basically.
Okay.
A typical day, it's, you know, I tend to work late nights, so I wake up in the afternoons. People think that I sleep in a lot, but actually I get like 6 hours.
Okay. So when you say it's like a typical business right now, okay, so here's like my thought, right? Okay, because a lot of people would possibly imagine creatives being very hectic. Like you said, sleeping in, they're just so erratic in a lot of sense. So when you say it's like a typical business, that there's a structure to what you do.
There's a loose structure.
A loose structure,
Yeah,
okay, so what's that?
Like for example, when you run a cafe, right? You have opening hours, you have closing hours, you know, you have things that you always do. But what happens in the day-to-day, it's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same,
yeah,
okay?
Because there's going to be minor differences, or a crisis could happen, or something goes wrong, or, you know, if you're running a cafe, the coffee machine could break down one day.
Right.
So you have to just keep adapting.
Adapting.
As a YouTuber or Twitch streamer and stuff like that, you have to adapt to a lot of things, like the platform changes, there's updates, tools are gone, something that used to be free is no longer free, something that didn't exist before now exists.
Okay.
You know, viewer habits change, you know, trends change, all that stuff. You have to adapt.
I really like that you use the analogy of like a cafe tau, because macam that actually I find that it's a very interesting way to look at a business, in a sense of things goes wrong. It goes wrong, like, you know, it's not just as straightforward as it looks. Because I have this idea that, or I think the impression I'm getting from a lot of people is that they feel like if they were to start a business, it has to be like super smooth or super stable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But here you're saying that, you know, that's not what happens, you know. It's day in, day out. Something's always changing, or there's all these new challenges that comes around.
Like right now, as you're talking to me, someone could be spamming my Discord with inappropriate images.
Oh God!
Like right now, they could be doing it.
Oh God! Okay. How you handle a situation like that? Somebody putting up like some random inappropriate images. You just
over time you ask people to help you. They become moderators or regulars, or just like the regulars of the community can just @ping mods, and sometimes, you know, it stays up there for a little longer than it should, but eventually if they ping me, then I come in and I moderate.
Untuk ni lah.
Yeah, but it's always very hands-on. You can't really take your hands off because unless you have like contracts and paying employees and moderators and stuff like that, you can't expect them to, you know, treat it like a job, because I'm not paying them like a job. They're just sort of volunteers. Right? So since, you know, it's all under me, I have to be hands-on.
So you're a solo act then in the whole production unit. You have, I think, 105,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel right now, ni?
About
there? Yeah. Holy crap. But okay, so you pulled that off as a solopreneur, or like, you know, a one-man show in that sense.
With the help of members of the community, yeah.
With the help of the members of the community, okay.
For the most part, you know, 105,000 subscribers, that's not me. I can't subscribe to myself 100,000 times.
Right? Okay. I understand. Yeah. That's really fair. You need help from the community. Okay, so that's actually a very interesting way to look at it too. But when it comes to the managing of the content so far, that's been on you solely, mainly, or you also think that you engage a lot of the community as well?
No, in terms of like actually making the content, that's all me.
That's all you.
That's all
untuk
me.
ni.
Yeah. Like,
Man.
besides suggestions, it's all me.
Suggestions lah untuk ni. Okay. So how dude, okay, a YouTuber, gaming content especially, that is like the last thing on any Asian punya list tau. Like that you end up doing that as a career path. Like how did you end up as a gaming YouTuber? Like how did that even came about?
Well, I grew up with games, right? Like the first pieces of media I had, my parents had a Pong machine, right?
Machine, okay.
Like old school, We got a Sega Genesis. I played DOS games with the floppy disks that were still floppy, and then the floppy disks that weren't floppy anymore. I went through zip drives, CDs, DVDs, playing all the games on all of them, right?
Yeah.
PlayStations all the way up. So I grew up gaming, right? And what happened was, once I got to college, started doing my degree, and just got so busy with that, I eventually just started watching people on YouTube around 2009, especially for StarCraft 2.
Okay.
So I just started watching StarCraft 2. I was like, oh, okay, this is nice.
Yeah.
And eventually, towards the end of my degree, I realized I haven't actually played a video game for 2 years.
Right.
I was like, I spent like my entire life playing video games, and I was like, I haven't played a video game.
Yeah.
I basically played StarCraft, and then I kind of stopped after that, right? So I needed an excuse to play games, right? It felt like a waste of time to just play, right? Like I enjoyed it; it was relaxing, but I felt like I could always be doing something else, and that was a time where, probably 21, 22 years old, I was like, I need to do everything,
like right now.
I need to establish myself. I need to start making money. I gotta do all this stuff. So I couldn't just sit there playing video games. And I was studying multimedia at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, fine. I've been watching YouTube for a couple years now, since 2009. So 2011, end of 2011, I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a gaming video. Then at least it's just an excuse. I'm practicing my multimedia skills. I'm video editing. I'm practicing my voice and presentation and all of that. So I just decided to do that. I made one series playing through a game called From Dust, which is like a God game environmental control thing. And I just sort of let that sit there for a while, and it got like a few hundred views. And I was like, okay, that's better than I expected. It got more views than I had subscribers, which I noted at the time. I was like, that's kind of important. Right. Because that means it's coming from search. Because me studying multimedia, I understand SEO.
I see. Okay.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you elaborate a bit more on that? Well, what is that SEO?
So that's just like when someone searches for something on the search engine, what shows up, and how do you show up there? Okay. Right? So if someone searches how to bake a pie, the people with the best SEO are the first 5 results.
Right. So we're talking about like keywords and stuff, and how you phrase like titles and all that. So you understood that at very early on.
Yeah, I didn't really do it properly, but it just happened to be good on YouTube. The SEO, like even though I didn't put in any effort, the results from search were a few hundred views. And I didn't even try to SEO it. I'm just gonna dump it there,
and then just see how. You were just having fun, I suppose, at that time, or you were doing something that you were passionate about again. Yeah. So did you immediately graduated from multimedia and then you became like a YouTuber straight after that, or what was that?
It's a bit messier than that. Yeah? So I actually did a diploma first. Okay. In multimedia. Then I worked in the design industry for about a year. Then I went back to do my degree. And then I graduated, and then I started, which you recently read my article, 4 years, 4 jobs.
Yes. That's a good article, by the way.
After the second time graduating, I did my 4 years, 4 jobs.
You did your 4 years, 4 jobs. Okay, so what was the 4 jobs then? Like, what was the thought process that was going on through your head? Like, why did you decide 4 different jobs in like 4 years?
I just didn't know. Like, it was so hard to say. Like, I can put it into words now, but back then it was just a feeling.
It was just a feeling.
It was so hard.
In the force.
Yeah, when you go to job interviews, or auditions or whatever, they often say, "Oh, where do you see yourself going? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And these companies, they have the audacity to say, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And then they offer you a 2-year contract. Right. It's like, really?
Right. Really? That's the standard. That's the standard where the companies are today, right?
But the question doesn't match the contracts they're giving out. They're like, "Oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And then they give you a 2-year contract. It's like,
maybe they're thinking like, oh yeah, we'll renew the contract after
Yeah.
like you're done. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why job security doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
You know? And the company just shuts down, you're fired. You know, it's
Right.
like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
there's no such thing as a permanent position. Your parents' generation, it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
You think it's over?
There's
Okay.
no permanent positions anymore.
Yeah. So you didn't go into a permanent position after your degree then? Or-
yeah, I became a high school teacher.
Yeah?
That was full time.
That was full time there.
That was a 2-year contract, of course.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going now with the whole
I
2 year,
freelance
yeah.
design
Okay.
because I used to work in the design industry, so I also could continue freelancing.
Okay.
I got a gig as a TV host.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks to some couple recommendations, and then I just went to
What
audition.
what were you hosting? Was it like
It was like a
Technia thing?
tech and game review show thing.
Oh, okay. That was from a Malaysian company.
Yeah, it was local.
I see. I didn't even know such a thing. Like they would have programs like that where you review text or like I always thought it was always done by independent companies.
Well, they were trying.
They were trying.
They were trying.
Yeah. So
It was the days before EGG. EGG
Okay.
is the new gaming network.
right.
And they're also trying, but it was before then, so it was even harder back then. So I actually hosted. It was actually 2 shows now that I think about it. It was 2 different networks, 2 different shows.
So you were hosting 2 different shows.
Yeah.
Sure. So you had like 5 jobs or something then at least 4
Well,
years then.
those weren't consecutive.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Like,
That's fair.
But TV, especially in the gaming and gadgets and tech area,
Yeah.
the people in charge of the shows generally don't know where to drive the show.
I see.
And then they don't know how to monetize it, so it doesn't make any money. So eventually those shows tend to just close down.
Okay.
Yeah, so over the years, so I was a teacher, I was a TV host, freelance designer, and I was doing the YouTube.
Okay.
Because after the first series did kind of okay, I said, okay, let's try to do this regularly as well.
Okay.
So I was doing all 4 at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So the TV gigs, they just get cancelled,
Right.
right? The freelance design gigs, it was just too much of, oh, here's what I can do, and this is how much it costs. And they say, oh, well, I know someone who can do it cheaper.
Right.
And I'll say, well, go hire them then.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's a struggle.
I was freelancing and I had a full-time job, so I didn't have to worry about I must get every job.
Every job out
You know,
there.
they always try to haggle, and I was like, well, go hire them. They're cheaper,
cheaper.
right?
Yeah.
You get what you pay for, though. Go hire the fresh grad.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
That's the
'Cause-
struggle of every creative.
Because I was kind of a fresh grad at the time because I finished my degree, but
Okay.
you have to remember I did my diploma and worked in the industry before that degree. So
You've
I
had
wasn't-
experience.
Yeah, I wasn't a fresh grad.
Yeah.
I had a couple years, right?
Okay.
So it was just too much of that, and the freelance stuff was too messy. Clients were, they'd hire you, and then they would just change everything. So what's the point of hiring you? You might as well just do it yourself.
Right.
If you hire a designer that will do what you want to do, and then don't tell them how to do it, because why are you hiring them then?
That's true.
Just
right?
do it yourself.
It's so weird. It is.
Google
so
it.
weird.
Download, Photoshop,
Yeah.
or the free versions, GIMP and Inkscape. And
Yeah.
do it yourself.
Finding good clients and good kind of working relationship is always tough. It's really always tough. Yeah. Okay. So that 4 years then, right? So having read your article, the title of the article was basically on how not focusing help you find your passion. So can you elaborate a bit more on that? Like, well, what do you mean by not focusing and like finding that passion?
Well, it is a lot about self-awareness, because if you are the kind to want to focus, then focus.
Okay.
Right? But a lot of people say you have to focus, right?
Right.
Like you have to do one thing for many years, and that will be it.
Sure.
Right? Like then you can get somewhere. But what happens then is a lot of people, they do one thing for 5 years and they're so established in that, but they don't actually like it.
Right.
But what people often do in counter to that is, I'm going to do 3 different things, and they just do 3 different things badly.
Right. Yeah.
So you have to know what you can and can't do yourself personally, right?
Okay.
The best way to do it is to do 3 or 4 different things well. Right? Like you really put in the work, you really put in the effort.
Right.
So you're not focusing, you're just focusing on many different things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You're doing it all.
Right.
Which of course comes with sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
You can't hang out at the clubs, you can't be, you come off one job, you go straight into another one.
Job,
And that's just how it is. You can't do that forever, you'll kill yourself. Which is why I set a 4-year time limit for myself. That's why it was the 4 years, 4 jobs. And I committed to, at the end of 4 years, I'm going to quit 3.
Right. So that was, again, like you said, it wasn't plan per se. It was more of a feeling that you just felt like, okay, this is what's going to happen in these 4 years.
It's easier to put into words now, but
Sure.
back then it was just sort of. It was, what year was that? It was 2010, 2011 was when I was just sort
Sure.
of having this thought process,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was just sort of this sense that the traditional form of work is not really going in the direction that makes sense anymore.
Okay.
Right? Just the whole traditional forms of everything doesn't really make sense
Right, yeah.
because it doesn't work. You
Right.
know? And this was before trendy words like fourth industrial revolution and gig economy
Oh, yeah,
became
gig
a thing,
economy,
right?
gig
Now
economy.
everyone's talking about it, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I sort of had these feelings and these thoughts, and it played into the way things were going. And it wasn't so much me predicting, it was just me sort of like looking at what was happening. I was like, I don't like that.
Right, you're observing what's going on, and you just kind of felt like this would be a better route.
Just
around
me
it.
noticing, they ask where you want to be in 5 years and then offering a 2-year contract.
yeah.
Something's wrong there. Because
Sure.
traditionally, when people hire you, you're there for
Forever.
for 40 years,
For 4
right?
years, yeah. That was the generation of our parents.
Yeah.
That was how they did
So
things.
that's why they ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because you're going to be there for like
A really long time.
5 times longer than that.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
now they say, where you're going to be in 5 years. They offer you a 2-year contract and then they hire an intern that's cheaper than you. It's like, so I noticed this right at the start of when I was like going into the working world, and I just didn't like it. So I started looking around. What other models are there for employment?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's easy. You can't get a job. You just call Grab, drive for Grab. They'll give you the
Oh
car.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I think there's never been an easier time for us to make money or like learn something new right now. And just going back to macam like how the current economy system doesn't really quite make sense, right? Macam I like the whole, what you said, that try to do 3 different things really well, because we were taught like you said, do one thing well and like excel at that, but not everybody is like Michael Jordan, where you would know that, okay, I'm gonna play basketball for the rest of my life.
Like,
some people are gifted with that.
If you really know,
yeah,
then go for
ahead.
it.
Yeah, don't think about anything else, right?
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of us, that route of trying a few different things and becoming good at them is also like a way around it. And I also find that sometimes you tend to grow a lot more too when you pick up a few different things.
Yeah.
It's like, so would you say you not focusing is really more of you stacking up on skill sets to where you are now?
I mean, that does happen, right? Like when I was teaching, you learn about things called transferable skills.
Right.
There's a lot of jargon.
Yeah.
But what it basically means is you learn the skills in one thing, and you can take those skills and apply it when you're doing something else. For example, if you're really good at drawing, right? You could become a doctor and draw like the medical things down so your medical students understand.
Right.
Right? So the drawing skills can carry over into teaching medicine, right? So that's a transferable skill. But the secret is every skill is transferable.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you learn, right? When I was going through college, I spent a ton of time, like just in my free time, studying things like botany or gardening, coffee. I was like, what's a French press? What's this? What's the different types of beans, right? All of these things, all of that just builds into who you are.
Right.
And whatever you go do, I went and became a teacher, and then I can talk about plants to the kids. I can talk about coffee to the teachers. They're all transferable skills. It's all transferable knowledge. So it doesn't really matter what it is. You just do the things that interest you, and then find out how to apply the things that you've learned to whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I was a teacher. Now I'm a YouTuber. It's not that different. I'm
Right.
talking to a class.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I was a TV host. Yeah. When I'm a freelance designer, I'm talking to clients. I'm just trying to create a product to sell to people.
To sell to people, right? And that's the funny thing, because I find that, okay, so you were a teacher, right? So you can like correct me if I'm wrong with this, because from what I remember from our education system back then is that it was always very like, you do this, therefore you end up like there's no connection between what we do. If you're good at maths, therefore you only do maths. You can become a mathematics teacher or whatever. There's no like linking between, okay, if you're good with numbers, why don't you think about setting up a business? Why don't you think about running, like something else lah? There's a lot of creativity that goes behind numbers as well. So yeah, do you think that we've limited, how we teach our kids in school how to look at the world? We bog them down to just like, by the end of this, you either become a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer.
Well, I can tell you, 90% of what happens to kids growing up is parents.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. You can send them to a fancy school. You can get the best teachers in the world. That teacher sees your kid for 2 to 4 hours a week.
Right. Right.
One teacher. Like, you're lucky if your kid gets a good teacher.
Sure.
Because the thing about education, here's one of the reasons why I stepped out of education, is because the truth of it is education needs to move slow.
Right.
It needs to change slow because of accreditation.
Right.
This
Right.
qualification means this thing. If you
Uh-huh.
change the course, if you change the syllabus,
Yeah.
then that qualification means something different.
Sure.
So if you change it too much, then people are like, this qualification doesn't mean anything. 1 year it's one thing, next year it's next thing, so no one recognizes it.
Okay.
You can't bring that qualification anywhere because
Okay.
they don't know what it is. So education needs to change slowly, but knowledge progresses very quickly. Right?
Okay.
That's why when we were in
Okay.
school, when we learned about the tongue in science, it showed the flavor regions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's bitter, here's sweet, all of that, right? That's completely disproven.
Right.
It's not real.
Right.
It's not true.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it stayed in textbooks for years
Right,
after.
right,
Because
right.
that's what that qualification means, that you are taught that thing.
Right.
So with the internet and with a lot of people pushing new forms of education and the world changing so fast, things are discovered and disproven before the education can even change from what was
Change
before.
Okay.
So what
okay.
happens is when you're teaching, you have to teach what you know to be untrue,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Because
you have to follow the syllables.
and then people
Yeah.
always say, oh, why don't you just tell the kids it's not real?
Right.
Because then the kids will go into the exam, they'll know it's not real, and they'll purposely get it wrong.
Right.
And then they'll argue with the system and everything, and they won't pass.
I see.
Right? And you can try
I see.
explaining this very carefully to kids, but again, one good teacher got your kid for like 2 to 4 hours.
Hours. That's about it.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the education for kids, 90% on parents.
90% on parents. So you
It's-
think it's
It's completely to do with parents. The good students have nice parents. The bad students have angry parents.
Wow.
It's always like that.
wow.
Doesn't matter whether it's
Wow.
government school, public schools, international, private schools, expensive schools, cheap schools. It's good parents, good kids.
I see.
It's all on the parents.
Yeah, but we never do that link though. That's very rare, I think, for people to kind of say that, yeah, you know what, the education system, the parents play a bigger role in all of this. Like, well, why do you think that is? Do you think it's because more it's a sensitive topic, or
No, it's
is
just historically. I want to say parents, but people in general
Sure.
shift blame to anyone else.
Okay.
It's very
Okay.
easy
Okay.
for parents to say, oh, my kid is not smart, it's the school's fault.
It's the school's fault.
It's not
right.
my job to educate my kid. You are literally being paid to teach my kid, to make them smart,
Right.
right?
Right.
But if the
right.
kid goes home and the parents aren't home,
Right.
and there's just like a maid looking after them, and there's not even
Yep.
any books around,
Yep.
not
Yep.
even books on display.
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of homes now which don't even have a bookcase.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The child comes home, 2/3 of their day, not counting weekends, 2/3 of their day is at home,
Right.
right? On an iPad,
Yep.
watching YouTube,
Yeah.
right?
And that's not gonna go well.
It doesn't really go well.
No, it's true.
I
Yeah.
mean, watching YouTube can work, but it needs to be parent directed, where they go to
Yes.
crash course.
Yes.
You know,
Rather than
Like
just
they can enjoy
mindless.
Fortnite, Minecraft videos. I enjoy those as well. But there should be times where they're also looking at Vsauce, Crash Course, those things.
And that's the parents' job to do it, right? It's not like anybody else, not the extended family, not like the schools
Yes,
and any
parents,
of that.
yeah.
So it's okay. So this is very interesting because okay, I'm not gonna say that kids are like just another example, right? Not that kids are like animals or pets or whatever, but there's some similarities. Like I remember there was this dog show that I've seen or something like about like dog trainers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think they've hired like the best trainers to come in and to help like these really rough dogs to kind of to tame them, to make them a bit more like obedient or whatever. And the interesting bit was that they didn't try to change the dogs. They tried to change the owners instead. You know, it's always on the owners to kind of like, you know, if your dog's this way, there's something that you're doing that's allowing this to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's the same thing with us and kids. You know, if we become parents someday. I mean, you're not a dad yet, are you right now?
But
yeah.
no, humans are animals.
Sure,
right?
sure.
100%. Like you can see very similar behaviors just when you're driving, right?
Okay.
The number of people who only think about the exact current goal when you're driving. So for example, you're driving along. If you think a few steps ahead, you can be like, oh, if I slow down now, get behind this guy, I'll be able to avoid some of the congestion up ahead.
Yeah, right.
So you signal.
Yeah.
The guy on the left might only be thinking, I am going straight,
Right.
right? I'm going straight. Anyone who gets in the way of me going straight is slowing me down.
Right.
So he sees your signal and he speeds up.
He speeds up. Right.
Happens
right.
every time. Super predictable,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
People like to think, oh, humans are smart. No, it's signal. Watch the
signal.
guy behind you speed up.
Speeds up.
I've done it on purpose. Signal.
Yep. That
Signal.
happens all the time. I hate.
I like to mess with them.
Oh, I see,
I just
see,
signal
see,
and
see,
tell
see,
them to
see.
go. All right, you speed up.
Right.
It's so predictable.
Right, yeah.
Because they're just thinking about the current goal. They don't realize that if them speeding up, they're gonna get too close to a car and they have to hit their brakes, right? Which eventually, one, wastes their fuel, wastes their money, breaks down their car faster, and they're not getting anywhere faster.
No.
You know,
you're
it's
not,
just I'm going straight. So if you're coming into my lane, you're gonna slow me down. I speed up, not realizing step 2 is you have to brake, and then
Sure.
I'm right behind you, and you're not getting any further away from me.
Further away, right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
humans are straight up animals.
Animals in that sense. Okay, sorry. So you're going back to like short-term goals, right? Do you think that a lot of us are stuck in that position of macam forget the car bits, right? You know, like I think in terms of jobs as well, that a lot of people say that I need to, you know, like stay with this job for reasons A, B, C, and D, you know, and some of it's legit, I suppose. You know, they got bills to pay, they got personal money. But do you think that people are genuinely as stuck as they make it sound to be, or do you think that they're just not opening up to other ways to get unstuck from like jobs that they hate? Or
There
whatever?
are people in very difficult positions.
Yeah.
And I recognize that. However, there has never been in the history of the world, in the history of humankind, where it has been easier to get out from being stuck.
Okay.
If you can't get out of being stuck today, it literally has never been easier.
Sure.
In the past 10,000 years
yeah.
of humans existing in some form or another, it's
Okay.
never been easier. And it's so frustrating because even I was talking to someone the other day about just Pasasani, right?
Okay.
We have an arts market,
Yeah.
right, in the capital. It's been around since 1888 or something like that.
Sure.
It's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Right? And I just looked it up. I was like, okay, what do they sell? Orang Asli Crafts. There's one shop called Asli Crafts, right?
Right.
Which is Aboriginal craft works,
Yeah.
right? So I found the directory. There it is.
Okay.
They don't even have a website,
Yikes.
right?
Yeah.
I use a mug on my streams, right?
Yeah.
My personal mug, my favorite mug,
Right,
which is
okay.
from East Malaysia. It's an Aboriginal design made by, I think, a old school Chinese family pottery in near Kuching,
Okay.
right? And everyone asks, oh, where can I get that mug? I would love to order one of those mugs. And I look up the place where I got it from. They have a website,
Yeah.
no way to order.
I see.
There's no online business at all.
I see,
They have
yeah.
an email at best and a
Right.
phone number.
Right.
And same with Pasasani, they didn't even have a website, this Asli Crafts.
Right.
So it's like if people wanted to order that,
How do you-
how do you do it? And it's not even difficult. You don't have to set up an online store.
Right,
You
okay.
just put that stuff on Etsy.
Etsy. Okay.
Like just go onto Etsy, create an account, Asli Crafts, take a photo of all your stuff and say, yeah, we'll ship this to you for this much money.
money. Yeah. And that's it. You don't even need
Yeah,
your own.
and
yeah.
it doesn't cost anything to do that.
Right.
You just use a smartphone and take the photos, right?
Sure.
If someone orders, you profit.
Right.
If someone doesn't order, you don't lose anything.
Right.
Right? There's so many options now which are like that, right? You don't lose anything by just putting it there. Right? All those painters, they could scan their paintings, sell it on DeviantArt.
DeviantArt, okay.
But how do they sell paintings here? They open some random shop in a
Shop.
mall and hope for people walking by. It's like,
yeah.
oh, I like that painting.
Yeah.
No one buys paintings. Who buys paintings
nobody,
like that?
Nobody. You know,
They're walking. Oh, that's a nice horse. I'm gonna buy that horse. No one does that.
Yeah, that's
what you
true.
need to do is you
That's
put it
true.
online,
Yeah.
and horse enthusiasts will be like, I'm looking
That's
for
what I'm
horse
looking for.
paintings.
Yeah.
They type into Google horse
Horse
paintings.
paintings, and then you're the first one that pops up,
Yeah.
right? And it's just
So you throw in some SEO. Those require skills and experience, but even just signing up for an Etsy account and putting your crafts there.
that's not that difficult.
No, it's not that difficult. You take crappy photos, say, I'll ship this to you for $50.
Sure.
And it's worth like $10, right? I'll
Right.
ship it to you for $50. You know,
And then
with
you
shipping,
get
it'll
it
cost
done.
you $20.
Yeah.
You know, you profit $30. If no one buys it, who cares?
Right.
If someone does buy it, you just got $30.
$30. Yeah. And you're not spending anything to
You're
put
not
it out
spending
there.
anything.
Yeah.
You only ship it out if someone orders it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. As opposed to having a shop that you're paying monthly.
Yeah.
And just waiting for like somebody to pass by, hoping that
Yeah.
And like
So,
yeah.
so the number of people who are quote unquote stuck is far greater than people who are actually stuck.
I see.
Right?
I see,
There
I see,
are
I see.
like oppressed people. There are
Sure.
people in really bad situations. You
yeah.
know, and I understand. I've been through really bad situations.
Sure, yeah.
But the number of people who are not really stuck and say they're stuck because of something.
Right.
You know, oh, my boss sucks. I'm not getting that promotion.
Sure.
You know, I've already explained the traditional job model doesn't work.
Doesn't work, yeah.
Right? You don't get promoted from doing hard work. You don't get promoted from doing that. You get promoted from bringing value to the company,
right.
whatever that is.
Right.
Right. You know, whoever makes the most money for the boss is the one who gets promoted. Because that's what a business is.
Whatever that means, right? Yeah.
So you could be the best, designer in the world,
Sure.
but are you making money?
Right.
If you want to be the best designer in the world and not have it rely on money, do your own thing. Start a YouTube channel about design. Start a business, your own business about design. You know.
So you would say that it's all about adding value in the to people and for yourself, right? You know.
Yeah.
So how would you say? What would that look like for say the average Joes like us? You know, like how could we add more value, say after university? You know that because that's usually when a lot of people feel stuck. You know, they go out of university and suddenly there's this almost, dare I say, culture of mediocrity. People are just super relaxed, but at the same time, they're upset where they are. They don't mind going out because you mentioned that you made sacrifices, meaning there was no clubbing, there was no drinking. Like, not that you do any of those stuff, I suppose. But
I'm not that interested.
You're
But
not that
I
interested,
didn't even like hang out with friends.
yeah,
all that much.
hanging out. Like okay, in the Malaysian context, it's the mamak sessions that where there's nothing wrong with that. It's fun and dandy, but if you're spending all that time there, and then we're still complaining about being stuck and stuff, then that's where I personally find that's where the problem lies.
Yeah. The number of people I've talked to online which say, I have a full-time job, I don't have time to start a YouTube channel.
Sure.
When that's literally what I did.
Sure.
I was a full-time teacher.
Right.
I'm at work by 7.
Right.
I'm off work at about 4.
Right.
Sometimes after that, I drove to do my TV hosting.
Sure.
Came back home and still worked on my YouTube channel.
Dude, how, man?
It's like you just do it, right?
Crap.
So people who work, I work 9 to 5. Yeah, what happens after 5?
Sure.
Let's say you take 2 hours in a jam coming home.
2
Let's say
hours,
you're back
sure.
by 7. Let's say you eat dinner. It's 8. You could do it by 7:30. Come on, you don't need an hour to eat dinner.
Sure.
What are you doing? Yeah, you're watching The Witcher or something.
Right. You know what? Yeah,
Cut
we
that
are
out.
watching Henry Cavill's butt popping up and his muscles and
You
stuff.
eat,
Like, okay,
you can
fair.
eat in 10 minutes, right?
Sure, you can eat in 10 minutes.
Spend 1 hour after that dinner working on the thing you want to grow.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that is, whether
Yeah.
it's a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, go onto Twitch, stream for an hour.
Right.
Right?
Study for
Yeah.
like an hour.
Yeah, just do that thing for an hour, then go to sleep.
Right.
Right?
And if you
that's-
do that,
I'm being lenient. 2 hour traffic back home.
sure.
Most people don't have 2 hour traffic.
It's
It's
an
like
hour.
1 hour
An
or
hour.
less even.
Yeah, unless, yeah. So we're talking about an hour. That's what 5 days a week. You get 5 hours in, right? And if you put in your whole weekend to doing something over the years, a year or two, you'll definitely be able to build something.
Yeah.
That's
If you can't squeeze in after the 9 to 5,
yeah,
spend 8 hours on Saturday.
right. Right.
That's already more than the hour after 9 to 5. You spend 8 hours every Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Well, here's the thing, though. But this is the other common thing that I hear people say, though. You know, they will say to me that, yeah, but I want my weekends to myself. You know that.
Then you don't get it.
Sorry.
You don't get the thing you
The
want.
thing that you want, right? It's as simple as that, right? They're like, I
Yeah.
want the weekend because you don't, you know.
Oh,
they-
you want your downtime.
Yeah, that's what they mean.
You
I want
want
my downtime. You know, you don't understand. You don't have a 9 to 5. You know that by the time I'm done with work, I just want to sleep. So the weekend's mine. I wanna. I don't know. You know, like you said,
So
watch The Witcher.
If you want
or-
to sleep,
Yeah.
then you get sleep,
Right.
which is fine.
Yeah.
If you want to sleep, if you want to watch The Witcher, then that is
That's
what you get.
want. Yeah. You're not gonna get outside.
Yeah, if you want to sleep and you want to watch The Witcher, you're not going to get a successful YouTube channel because you didn't want it. You wanted sleep and you wanted to watch The Witcher.
Which is fine.
So you
Yeah.
slept and you watched The Witcher.
Right.
Like people saying that, oh, I'm stuck and I'm trying the best I can to get unstuck,
Right.
you're generally not.
I see.
You know, there's this dissonance between what people say they want and what they actually want.
I see, yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, I want a successful YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe they don't know what goes into it, but whatever. You want a successful, if you want something, you work for it,
Right. Yeah.
right? If you wanted a nice garden, you go and dig up the soil, you fertilize, you plant seeds, you know.
That's
You
what
don't
you
say,
do.
I want a lovely garden, and you watch The Witcher, and it's like, well, your garden's gonna be garbage.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but how do you break out then from that mindset, though? You know.
The thing on the side needs to be something that you love,
Okay.
right? I can go through all of this because I enjoy doing all of this. I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy responding to comments. I enjoy dealing with trolls and haters. I enjoy the whole thing, right? So if you don't actually enjoy it, what happens is a lot of people say, oh, I want to have a successful YouTube channel. I want to be a big YouTuber. They don't actually want to be a big YouTuber. They want to be famous,
Right.
right? So because they want to be famous, YouTubing is just one way of doing that. That
Sure.
doesn't mean they necessarily
Sure.
love YouTubing, right? So the thing on the side, the thing you spend your Saturday working on, you know, putting 8 hours or 6 hours on Saturday into the thing, that needs to be something that you actually
You
care
care
about.
about, okay.
Yeah. Like if you really love gardening, then you would spend those 6 hours like just enjoying gardening. Because like the thing on the side, the whole point of having the side gig, which you enjoy doing, you know, is that you enjoy doing it. You actually do that work to relax, right? And the reason why it's a dream is because a job that makes you relax, that actually pays the bills, that's the dream.
Right.
So if you're saying, oh, I want downtime, you should be working on something that gives you that downtime,
Right.
right? So me working on YouTube, that is my downtime.
Right. Okay.
That's why I can keep going.
Yeah, it's because it's something that you enjoy doing, and it's just something that relaxes you. And I suppose you get a lot of satisfaction from doing that work itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what if somebody who doesn't know what satisfies them other than
That's when you not
Netflix?
focus.
Okay.
You go do things. Like it's very common, especially when I was teaching. You know, students, they don't know what to do with their lives. Right? They don't
Yeah.
really know. Like, I'll be a doctor or whatever. You know, you just
Yes,
write it
yes,
on the
yeah,
form.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You go do stuff. You know, you try make a film. You try make a game. You try gardening. You try coffee. You try cooking. You try all these things. Right? You
Yeah.
try drawing,
Right.
animating. You just go do it.
Right.
Right? And once you've done these things, you'll know, after doing it for like a week or so, that you don't actually like it.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
stop, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep doing that thing, play instruments, whatever. You just keep doing those things until you find something that you want to come back to and do again. Right? And that's what you spend your spare hours on, working as your side gig.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people, they just look at me. I was like, oh wow, you're a successful YouTuber.
Sure.
I want to be like that. And I was like, do you really?
Yeah.
Or do you just want
the good stuff that comes
the
from
good
it?
stuff?
Yeah.
Because people always ask me, oh, what's it like being a YouTuber? I always say, it's good now,
Yeah.
right? You didn't see me for the first 5 years.
Right.
You're looking at me now when
Yeah.
I'm 8 years in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm almost a decade in,
Yeah.
right? I'm approaching 9 years.
Nice.
the first 5 years, that
That's
was
horrible, yeah.
difficult, right? It's so much juggling. It's so much trying to make everything work. You know, I didn't quit my day job until 4 years in, right? People I quit your day job, start being a YouTuber. 6 months in, I'm not making any money. I guess it's not for me. It's
Right,
like,
right.
6 months.
Yeah.
It took me 4 years.
Sure.
And I was
Sure.
kind of lucky a little bit. It takes a lot of work, right?
Yep.
There's always luck involved. People say, only lucky people can become YouTubers.
Right, yeah.
Well, luck determines whether your boss likes your face and promotes you, right?
Yeah.
You control what's in your power, right?
Yeah.
You need a video to blow up, some videos to blow up, right? If you make 10 videos, what do you expect to blow up? I've made 1,600 videos so far.
Shit, 1,600 videos.
1,600.
Oh my god.
Even with a lenient success rate,
Yeah,
like let's
right.
say those that cross 20,000 views,
Sure, yeah.
it's like a 12% success rate,
Right.
right? It's about 10%, right?
Right, yeah.
So 160 of my videos have done well,
Right, yeah. Okay.
right? 160 out of 1,600.
600, right. Wow.
You make more videos like that. If you're whatever it is, if your side passion project
Yeah.
that you really love
Yeah.
is drawing, and you like to draw and you want to be paid for drawing,
Right.
draw 1,600 things. Put them all on DeviantArt.
Yeah, so you believe in the numbers and the practice above everything else then, because like I've met people who would sit down and they technically want to talk about strategizing when they do these things, but usually what they mean by strategizing is just spending hours and hours and weeks after weeks
Yeah,
talking and it
it's-
doesn't go beyond the idea stage.
It's from people who look at those who are already successful
Sure.
and saying, oh wow, PewDiePie made a video
Yeah,
and it got 4 million views.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, 4 million views. But if you look at his subscriber count, that's less than 4% that watched it, right?
Okay.
He's got over 100 million subscribers.
Right.
4 million views is less than 4% of
4%.
them clicking the video.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You take your subscriber count of 100,
Sure. Yeah.
that means you get 4 views.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
You're
yeah.
equaling PewDiePie's watch rate.
Right to what you're doing.
If you got 4 views with 100 subscribers.
There you're right. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
People don't see the comparison of numbers.
Numbers,
here.
I see.
You know, they just see PewDiePie. Oh, he made
4
some
million views, yeah.
weird video and it got like 4 million views.
Sure.
Because he's PewDiePie.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
Do you know how many videos he has? He's been making a video daily for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like,
That's
he's
insane.
got thousands and thousands of videos, right?
Yeah. That's insanity. Like, I understand the whole hustle and bustle thing, right? I know some people who have said to me things like, yeah, they have a team, that's why he can do it. Like, look, even if you had a team, and your job is just one aspect, which is to show up every day in front of the camera and get somebody else to edit or do whatever, it's still insane.
Yeah.
It's still insane. That's like, it's almost like, working for a boss for 7 days a week in that sense, Imagine doing that, and it's still tiring. Yeah, sure, it's what you love, but it's still a lot of time and effort. And I guess, do you think that's why it's important for us to find work that we're actually passionate about today, though? Or do you think it's just fluff?
I don't really suppose it's important.
Sure.
Right? But it's what everyone wants.
Right. Or they
you,
claim
you want to be paid to do what you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Right? That's who does not want that?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true, yeah.
And it's just that right now is the easiest it's ever been to do it. Right? You go back 50 years, you go back 20 years.
Right, yeah.
When internet was in its infancy.
Okay.
Right? You go back to the millennium. And it's like, there's like, you can't just start selling things on Etsy.
No,
YouTube
yeah.
didn't exist.
No, it did not, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what was around back then? Newgrounds, maybe.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Like, how do you monetize that? It's like,
Yeah.
YouTube, it was invented in 2005. 20 years ago, YouTube didn't exist.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Right?
true.
So now it's never been easier to actually achieve that dream. It still takes work.
Of
It
course.
takes a little bit of luck, but
Yeah.
you can make your own luck through quantity.
Right.
Right?
Hard work.
Because those who make it generally are good. But a lot of people are like, oh, you have to be good to make it. And it's just, how do you get good?
Do more.
Practice.
Practice, yeah.
Like, what? You want to play piano for a living? Play piano for 2 hours every day for the next 7 years.
Right. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You think, like
Then you can make a YouTube channel about playing piano. You'll actually be good about it.
Okay. That's neat. All right, so I think we're running out of time right now for today's episode. It's been really great so far, Zakh, with everything that you share. I would like to ask you if you have any last words, anything to share to the audience that you think that is important on your end, though. Like advice, I suppose, or maybe give steps for people who are just completely clueless about what their passions are.
If you don't know what your passion is, just try stuff. Spend a whole week, focus on a random topic. Like literally just random topic.
Random.
You're better off actually going to Wikipedia and just doing the random article thing. And just spend a week focusing on that.
Okay.
Right? Whether it's astrophysics, gardening, history,
whatever.
War strategies, like whatever. Like just spend a week. Like you can very quickly determine whether you hate this thing.
Right. Okay.
And then move on to the next thing. Right? It won't even take a week. You could probably do it a day. Right? You can go through 300 topics in a year.
That's true.
Just spend the day thinking, reading, watching videos on it, seeing if you really care about this thing. And if you don't care, move on. Until you find something you do actually care about and want to return to. And then you'll end up watching 50 videos on that topic.
I see, yeah.
That will be what you can get good at, because that will be the thing
then
that
you realize that
you will work on, because you want to work on it.
Right. That's really good advice. Thank you, Zakh, so much for this. Guys, if you want to find out more about Zakh, I'm gonna leave description box like links and stuff. Check out his videos, especially if you're into like nostalgic gaming and things like that, guys. So, beyond that, check out his LinkedIn account as well, where he writes articles sharing his experiences about work. If you're not in the gaming scene, I've read the recent one, which is about him focusing on 4 jobs, and I thought that, like, for me personally, it really resonated well with me, So. Till the next episode, guys. Thank you, Zakh, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. See you, Zakh. And guys, bye. Take care.